everyone. I want to walk you through assignment 7.1. This is one of the more challenging assignments that we have in the course, but probably one of my favorites. It's very important as we go through this assignment that you are really providing that attention to detail. All of the information that you're going to need to fill out each of these forms is provided. So it's really just a matter of understanding exactly what it's asking for. We're going to start by preparing the sales budget for 2014. We're going to prepare a production budget, a direct materials purchase budget, a direct labor budget, and then finally a budgeted income statement for 2014. So what I'd like to do is kind of start at the top of the spreadsheet and walk through all the way down. So it starts off by telling us that Morgan Manufacturing produces healthy snack foods from organic ingredients. And we've been talking a lot about Morgan Manufacturing over the last 2 weeks. So the projected sales and ending finished goods inventory for its line of protein bars are provided. The first thing that we're going to need to calculate is what do these quantities in cases translate to in terms of bars? Well, there's an information in row 17 where it states that the bars are produced in batches of 12,000. They're sold in boxes of 12, so there's 12 per box, and each case has 24 boxes. So in order to determine how many individual bars are in 500,000 cases, we'd have to take the information provided in row 17. Giving us 12 per box, 24 boxes in a case, times 500,000 cases. And that'll give you your number per bars. You'll continue that process throughout 5, 6, 7, and 8. If a case is $576, then per the case, then you would divide that by the 12 times 24 to get an individual per bar price. Your units in beginning inventory are 50,000. They'll be calculated the exact same way we did the cases, and same with the ending inventory of 75,000. Then what we want to understand is that each bar requires the following ingredients. So it breaks it down into flour, eggs, sugar, and other, and it provides you the total quantities for each of those per batch. Well, again, I'm going to refer to row 17, where it states that the bars are produced in batches of 12,000. So in order to determine how much of the 25 pounds of flour would go into each bar, you would divide the 25 by 12,000. And you would follow on that process through each of the cells in rows 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay? So now that we've calculated what the sales translates into in bars and what the direct materials is in bars, we're going to go ahead and move down. And what we're given here is the beginning and required ending inventory for raw materials. So this is different than the actual finished case, finished batch, or finished bars. Each batch requires an average of 30 minutes of direct labor, which is billed at $15 per hour. This is key information, and what it's letting you know is that in essence you can do 2 batches per hour. The total direct labor bill rate per hour is $15, or $15 for every 2 batches. They are also letting us know that the cost of goods sold per case is $276. Remember that this is cost of goods sold as part of the income statement, and it is giving us the quantity per case. We have fixed selling and administrative expenses, which are also a line item on the income statement, and then we're given the tax rate of 35%. So one of the important things for us to begin filling out is the sales budget. The sales budget is asking us how many cases we expect to sell, which was provided to us at the top of the sheet. And what is the price per case? Well, that's also provided to us at the top of the sheet. When you multiply the number of cases by the price per case, you're given the total sales or revenue dollar. Our production budget is calculated as the sales in cases and in bars, plus the desired ending inventory, gives you the total needs for production. You reduce that by the beginning inventory, and that gives you the total units to be produced. Your sales cases and in bars is provided up at the top. You can see here that we've determined exactly how many sales units we would have both in cases and in bars. We're also given our beginning and targeted ending inventory, and we've also already calculated that in bars. So we'll bring that information down into the production budget. Remember that in row 57, they're telling you to deduct the beginning inventory from your total needs, and that'll give you the quantity that you want to produce. For the direct materials purchases budget, there's some very important things that we need to take note of. In row 65, it's asking you for the direct materials per unit per bar. So here in the units to be produced, we want to calculate it as in the total number of bars, and that's provided to us up here in cell 58. So you'll translate this number from D58 down to C64, and the direct materials per unit or per bar was also previously calculated up at the top in cells D12 through D15. So you'll simply copy the numbers from here, paste them down into the direct materials per bar. You can also use an Excel formula, which is you can type in equals and then the applicable cell, and it'll automatically pull those numbers down. And you're going to multiply the direct materials per unit times the unit to be produced will give you your production needs. Your desired ending inventory is also provided above. In the raw materials data, you're given the beginning inventory as well as the ending inventory. You'll plug those numbers into the ending inventory row. You'll sum the production plus your target ending inventory gives you your total need. From that, you will deduct the beginning inventory, which you already have available, and this tells you exactly how much raw material you'll have to purchase for each of the raw materials. The cost per unit is also provided above, and the total purchase cost is the quantity of materials to be purchased by the cost per unit. You'll provide the sum for each raw material, and in cell C72, you'll sum up across all the requirements: flour plus eggs plus sugar plus other. We're beginning to near the end of our calculations. In row 78, we're now trying to calculate the direct labor unit budget. These are the labor hours that are needed for units to be produced, and it's produced in batch quantities. So again, remember that we talked about it's 30-minute requirement per batch, $15 per hour. So we want to know, based on the total number of batches that need to be produced, what does that translate to in terms of hours? That gives us our total hours needed. The cost per hour is provided above. You'll multiply the cost per hour times the total hours needed, and that'll give you your total direct labor cost. And then lastly, we want to understand what is our budgeted income statement for the year end. So the sales quantity will always be the total revenue, or the total number of sales, which is provided up top, by the price per case. That gives us our total revenue. Our cost of goods sold is given to us in row 29. It tells you exactly what the cost of goods sold is per case. You'd multiply that by the number of cases that you're planning to sell. And that will give you your gross margin. So it's the revenue less the cost of goods sold gives you your gross margin. Selling and administrative expenses are provided at top. When you deduct the selling and administrative expenses from the gross margin, you're given your operating income less income taxes, and the tax rate is also provided above. Once you deduct the taxes from the operating income, you're left with your net income. And that is how you calculate the budgeted income statement, the direct labor budget, the direct materials purchases budget, the production budget, and the sales budget. I thank you for your time, and I hope that this helps facilitate the learning and the completion of the assignment. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to email me or give me a call. Thank you and have a wonderful week.